A friend of mine once told me I was too nice for my own good. I thought it was a compliment. Turns out it was a warning. Hey, in this video, I'm gonna show you why being nice isn't the same as being kind, and why being nice could actually sometimes be fear disguised as virtue. I didn't see this until I read Dr. Aziz's book, Not Nice, and I answered some of his burning questions that exposed my reality. Now, before we get into why niceness can be toxic, let's acknowledge something. Deep down, we already know this. Our language gives us away. Just listen to how we talk about overly nice people. We say, yes, he's nice and all, but, or she's just too nice for that job, or even, you're too nice for your own good. The last one in particular is very telling. We're essentially saying, you're sabotaging yourself, but you're doing it in a nice way. So, what can we do? It's like a collective societal shoulder shrug, where we acknowledge the problem while letting everyone off the hook. It's like we treat excessive niceness like a character flaw we can't criticize because it's technically a virtue. When I read the book, Dr. Aziz's main argument hit me like a truck. He was arguing that being less nice allowed us to be more kind and more generous people. That felt completely backwards to me. How could being less of something good make you more good? It made no sense. Because I thought that being nice and being kind were the same thing, and that they were both good things. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized maybe nice and kind aren't the same thing at all. This hits especially hard for me because I was always the nice one, the person who listened, who never caused drama, who everyone could always count on to say yes. I had built my entire identity around being agreeable and easy. So when this book suggested that my niceness might actually be a problem, I felt defensive, even offended, but I kept reading nonetheless. It was when I encountered a two-part question in the book that I started realizing what he meant. I was answering the first part of the question proudly. I even felt good about my answer. But the second question, that's when everything fell apart. Here's the first question. Imagine you're going to someone's house, maybe for a work event or meeting new people. As you're about to walk in, your friend pulls you aside and says, "Hey, be nice in there, okay? For me." What would you do differently? When I wrote my answer, I felt proud. I'd be quieter, I thought, more careful with my words. I'd scan the room, read the vibe, figure out what's safe to say and what's not. I'd avoid saying anything too bold or too dramatic. I'd just look for polite topics and easy exits out of conversations. And I was so proud. I thought to myself, yeah, I can be a social chameleon when I need to, especially if it's for a friend. That's a good skill to have. Then came the second question. How similarly do you behave in your daily life? I couldn't even finish writing. All that pride I felt seconds ago, gone, replaced by shame and confusion. Because I realized I was doing this everywhere, all the time, in almost every interaction. I was constantly scanning rooms, constantly checking vibes, finding safe openings for a very polite line or two, and then disappearing into the background. No fuss, no argument. It was as if I was always performing the be nice in their eye, no matter where I was. And guess what? If you just recognize yourself in that party behavior, then your friends also probably describe you as the nice one. That exercise showed me something I'd never seen before. Niceness was not who I was, it was just a strategy I was using unconsciously. It had nothing to do with me being a kind or generous person, but it had everything to do with me fearing people's reactions and their potential rejections. I was always in be nice in there mode because I was too scared to show up as just me in there and risk being judged for it. Niceness, at least for me, was not a virtue. It was a defense mechanism, a carefully constructed performance designed to smooth everything over, avoid all the conflicts, and make sure no one had a reason to reject me. ever. And I know I'm not alone. There are many of us out there, nice people or people pleasers, constantly self-monitoring, self-censoring, and self-altering to make every situation easier for everyone else except themselves. That two-part question changed how I see myself. It also changed my understanding of what niceness versus what kindness is. I understand now that kindness is a good human virtue to aspire to, whereas niceness, in my case at least, was nothing but a fake mask that I used out of my fear of rejection, and I used it as a defense mechanism. Here is the general prompt that helped me and would probably also help you figure out if your niceness is simply a fake mask you use as a defense mechanism. What is your gut reaction to the word nice? Would others describe you using that word? And would you describe yourself using that word? If you recognize yourself in the above story, the chances are you're also one of us, a nice person or a people pleaser. I'm creating a whole series about the topic, where it comes from, what it leads to, and how we can choose something better. If you've enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching.